You guys, we absolutely have to talk about the storm that is brewing around Tana Mongeau and her complicated relationship with Shane Dawson. A seemingly innocent TikTok posted by Tana with Trevi Moran has reignited a massive conversation online, and it's pulled back the curtain on the messy world of influencer loyalty. The video has brought up years of history, forcing people to question everything they thought they knew about Tana's comeback story. Suddenly, everyone is pointing out how Tana fiercely supported Shane Dawson when it was beneficial for her career, but now seems to be subtly shading him to fit a new narrative. The reactions have been explosive, and we are going to get into every single layer of it. We're going to break down exactly why Tana's public stance appears to be doing a complete 180. We'll dive deep into the history between her and Shane that makes this entire situation so incredibly messy, and explore what this conflict reveals about who these creators truly are when the cameras are turned off. This isn't just about a single shady TikTok. This is a much larger story about how influencers attempt to rewrite their own history in real time, and what happens when the public image they've so carefully constructed starts to crack under the pressure of their own past statements. It's a case study in opportunism, loyalty, and the high price of fame. Okay, so to truly understand the weight of the situation and why people are feeling so passionately about it, we have to rewind the clock. It's crucial to remember the two distinct eras of Tana Mongeau's career, pre-Shane Dawson and post-Shane Dawson. Now that she's comfortably in her more polished, brand-safe era, it's easy to forget that there was a moment when her career was in an absolute, undeniable freefall. Let's go back to 2018. The only thing anyone in the YouTube space could talk about was TanaCon. It wasn't just a failure, it was a colossal disaster. An event that became a cultural shorthand for influencer hubris. Thousands of her fans were left stranded in the California sun, and the backlash was unlike anything we had seen at the time. The internet was calling her a scammer, a fraud, and for a hot minute, it genuinely looked like her career might be over for good. This is the exact moment Shane Dawson enters the narrative. In 2018, Shane was the undisputed king of YouTube, a figure with the power to completely rehabilitate a creator's image with one of his multi-part docuseries. For Tana, he was more than a collaborator, he was a lifeline. Shane produced the blockbuster 3-part series, The Truth About TanaCon, which gave Tana a platform to tell her side of the story to millions. The series was a cultural phenomenon, masterfully framing Tana not as a malicious scammer, but as a naive, ambitious young creator who simply got in way over her head. And it was incredibly effective. The public narrative shifted almost overnight. Anger turned into sympathy, and Tana's career was miraculously saved from the brink of extinction. And Tana knew it. She wasn't just privately thankful, she was publicly effusive with her gratitude. She tweeted about letting the truth live and expressed how indebted she was to Shane. But it went so much deeper than that. She began to speak about him in deeply personal, almost reverential terms. The single most telling moment, one that is now being used as a receipt against her, was when she accepted a Streamy Award on his behalf. She stood on that stage and declared, "I wouldn't even be doing anything if it wasn't for Shane. I love you, Dad. I love you, Shane." She called him Dad. She called him her idol. On countless podcasts and in interviews, she repeatedly told the story of how Shane Dawson saved not just her career, but her life. For years, this was the accepted, undisputed narrative. Shane Dawson rescued Tana Mongeau from cancellation. This context is absolutely critical, because Tana didn't just collaborate with Shane, she wove him into the very fabric of her comeback story, making him the central. So let's fast forward to today. The internet landscape is vastly different. Shane Dawson experienced his own massive public cancellation in 2020, and his name is now inextricably linked to major controversy. Tana distancing herself from the chaos of her past. This week, she jumped on the popular Netflix documentary trend, posting that video with Trevi Moran. The text over the video read, "Us sitting down for a documentary about being in Shane Dawson videos." The implication was immediate and clear to anyone watching. It felt like a direct, shady reference to the controversies surrounding Shane, framing her association with him not as a collaboration, but as a traumatic event worthy of a tell-all documentary. For many viewers, it was just classic Tana being messy and using a big name for engagement. But for those in Shane's inner circle, it was a blatant act of betrayal. This is where Morgan Adams enters the picture. Morgan is Ryland Adams' sister, making her Shane's sister-in-law, and she wasn't having it. She allegedly left a brutal, two-part comment that was quickly deleted, but not before screenshots spread like wildfire. The comment perfectly articulated what so many people were thinking. The first part reportedly read, "Never forget when it worked in your favor. He was your dad and biggest idol." A second comment supposedly followed. "Congrats on evolving. How about you let others do the same?" Let's break down why this clapback was so devastating for Tana. The first line, "He was your dad and biggest idol," is a direct, surgical strike against her credibility. It's pulling out the ultimate receipt. It serves as a powerful reminder of the years she spent lionizing him, which completely dismantles the new victim-adjacent narrative she appears to be pushing in her TikTok. It reframes her not as a survivor, but as a calculated opportunist who praised Shane when it was advantageous and is now discarding him when it's no longer convenient. The second part, "Congrats on evolving, how about you let others do the same?" is just dripping with cutting sarcasm. It simultaneously mocks her carefully constructed rebrand while exposing a glaring double standard. If Tana is allowed to evolve past her own extensive list of scandals, TanaCon, accusations of racism, endless smaller dramas, then why shouldn't Shane be afforded the same grace to evolve, especially from the one person who he so publicly helped? This is why the internet is ablaze with this conversation. It calls out the perceived. Now, this would be a fairly straightforward story of an influencer getting called out for their hypocrisy, but it gets significantly messier. Because while Morgan's comment landed like a bombshell, people immediately began to ask a valid question. Is Morgan even the right person to be making this accusation? This is where we have to remember that two things can be true at once. Tana's actions can be viewed as hypocritical, absolutely. But Morgan's own history complicates her position as the arbiter of loyalty. We have to go back to 2020 again, during the height of Shane's public reckoning. As someone extremely close to Shane, Morgan was in an incredibly difficult position. She eventually posted a video addressing the situation, where she made her stance crystal clear. In her video, she stated unequivocally that she did not agree with or defend his old offensive content. However, she made a very deliberate effort to separate the Shane in those old videos from the person she knew in her daily life. She described him as a friend, a mentor, a family member, who had always just been gracious and kind. She specifically said, "I'm not defending anything that has been said in the past," but she simultaneously vouched for his personal character. At the time, many people viewed this as a way of sidestepping the core issue, condemning the problematic actions, but continuing to support the person responsible for them. So her loyalty to Shane could also be seen as selective. She defends the man, but not his past work. Therefore, when she calls out Tana for a perceived lack of loyalty, it gets complicated. Is her comment a righteous stand against hypocrisy? Or is it simply a reflexive which transforms this from a moral takedown into just another messy, complicated influencer drama where no one occupies the high ground? And just when you thought this situation couldn't get any more tangled, we have to talk about the involvement of Trisha Paytas. Trisha's connection to any online drama is like throwing a lit match into a room full of gasoline. She is a chaos multiplier. As soon as the discussion around Tana's TikTok and Shane's history began to gain traction, Trisha's name was inevitably dragged into the fray due to her own long, storied, and incredibly complicated history with every single person involved in this story. Her massive platform and highly engaged audience mean that any drama she touches instantly becomes a global internet event. We also know from Tana's own mouth that Trisha is a significant part of her current world. It wasn't that long ago that Tana, on her Cancelled podcast, which she co-hosts with Trisha, was openly discussing Shane. In a now infamous clip, Tana literally said she wanted to invite Shane Dawson onto the Cancelled podcast. The irony was not lost on viewers, who joked that he was too cancelled for cancelled, but Tana seemed genuinely enthusiastic about the idea. This makes her recent TikTok feel even more performative. Just a short while ago, she was trying to use their connection for content. Now, she's framing that connection as something to be unpacked in a documentary. Trisha's presence in Tana's life adds yet another layer of performance to the entire affair. With Trisha being one of Tana's closest friends, any defense or criticism of Tana becomes infinitely more complex. Much of the online commentary pointed out this supreme irony. You have a collection of creators, each with their own encyclopedic history of feuds, apologies, and controversies, all pointing fingers at one another. It becomes less about who is right or wrong, and more about who has the right to call out whom. Trisha's connection to all of this muddies the waters completely. It shifts a relatively clear argument about Tana's alleged hypocrisy into a messy, three-way dynamic where no one appears to have a firm moral standing. The focus moves away from the actual point, Tana rewriting her history with Shane, and onto the sheer spectacle of all these massive, volatile personalities clashing once again. It's a testament to the fact that in the modern influencer world, the loudest voice often controls the chaos, even if it doesn't control the narrative. So after walking through this entire tangled timeline, from TanaCon to the TikTok, the public is left asking some serious questions. People are wondering, does Tana not like Shane anymore? Or is she just stirring the pot for views? Because by invoking Shane's name in 2026, you are absolutely stirring the pot and intentionally reminding people of his controversial past. Perhaps Tana thought it was just a harmless— How do you feel about Tana holding such wildly different public views of Shane over the years? Is it genuine evolution? Or is it strategic opportunism? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns like this one. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye guys!